practice. And yeah, so if you guys want to practice anything specifically, feel free to drop in a scenario in the chat and we could do that. And then I could start off with Luciana, being that few people are coming on. Luciana, what would you like to role play?
I don't know, maybe a buyer or a seller.
Okay.
A seller right now to reduce price, or whatever you think it's.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think I don't know how about the other people, if they are having a hard time to reduce price with sellers, maybe we can do that.
okay, so basically, my method is have a goal for every conversation, right? Role play that goal, that scenario, and then have a immediate, once you meet with the client, have an immediate follow up. So typically, when I want to
Okay. Sorry.
So typically when I want to bring up a price conversation, which I'm based out of New York, I always say Miami is the steroids market, because like you guys have so above ass, like it's nothing. New York, we're always used to having this price drop conversation. Actually, I had it last week. So typically I always send comps prior, before having this conversation, because when I meet with sellers initially, I say if we don't get an offer within 30 days, that means it's a pricing problem, because we're going to do whatever our best for marketing to get as much traffic through the door, and we show them our marketing plan. But if we don't get an offer, that means it's, or we don't get some type of issue, it's overpriced. So typically in this scenario, I would send comps prior, and I would just say, let's, are you able to meet in person or have a chat over the phone for 5 to 10 minutes? So do you want to be the agent or do you want to be the seller?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be the agent.
Okay, sure. So just so you know, so you already sent me the comps, right? So you sent me the traffic report, which I know you do.
Yeah.
To your clients. So,
yeah.
All right, now let's start this call.
Okay, yeah. So, hi, Justin, how are you? I know you've been receiving my insight report and my showing report with all the comments. And as you can see, I've sent you for the last 4 weeks. And I just wanted to have a meeting, if possible in person, but if not, via Zoom.
Okay. How long have we been on the market so far?
Yeah, we've been 2 months on the market. And as you can see, it's not coming from me. It's what the marketing is telling you. If you look at the insight report and the showing reports, we haven't had any showing for the last 4 weeks. And the insight report has been dropping the number of viewers and the number of how long the person is looking at your property in the internet. So I want you to tell me what would you like to do?
So, and what are we priced right now?
We are priced at 7 million. And as per the comps, when we first listed, I sent you the comps, and the market was saying that the correct price would be between 5 and 6, but you wanted to list at 7, and I told you would be fine. I would do whatever you wanted because it's your property. But now that we have no activity, I want to see, what is your plan B? What you'd like to do?
That's a good question. So I definitely want to sell. Every month I have to pay for like the monthlies. What do these properties go for rent? Like if we can't sell, is renting an option or?
Yes, rent is an option, but I also, I sent you, I think the right price is 30,000. And you wanted to list at 40,000, but also we have no activity in the rental market at this price.
So is there no market in this area anymore, or like what is your feeling?
Well, my feeling is that yes, there is a market, but you have to be very, very well priced because the market is really slow in that area. And there are a lot of inventory, amazingly enough, but that's the only area that, you know, it's different. As you know, the real estate is hyper local. So in that area, specifically in that building, the market has been very, very slow.
So you think if we drop it to like maybe, so we're priced at 700, do you think if we drop it to like 6 million flat or like maybe 6,200,000, do you think we would get more interest or?
On my personal opinion, I would go below 6 because it is, you know, as I showed you, the other properties, there are a lot of inventory and other properties are listed. I would suggest to be, if not the lowest, like to seem to be the best deal in the building, like you have a little bit below price, but being a higher floor. So
Okay.
I would think, you know, you wanna look like you are the best deal in the building.
Got it. Okay. How about this? How about send me the new price you suggest again? With the resend me the comps and let me think it over and then I'll get back to you like tomorrow. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds fine. Yes, absolutely. And if you decide to reduce the price, I'll launch a new campaign with digital ads and everything.
Okay. All right. Let me review it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that was fine. The one thing I always add when I speak to people, especially like people that are reselling, is that I know, and I tell them this as like this is a tough conversation for me to have with you. It's not my money. I understand it's your money, and I'm asking you to make a big reduction. So I always try to get that out the way because they think they think agents are just like, oh, drop the price, like we're so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's their money at the end. Like we're asking them to drop $1 million.
Yeah. That's ultimately it's your decision because it's your property, it's your money.
Yeah. That's one thing.
Yeah, they always think that we wanted to push it down to sell quickly.
Yeah, so
it's not the case.
Yeah, and I tell her, so I always start off the conversation with that, just like, you know, I understand it's your money. You know, it's the tough comment. I hate having this comment. I always tell them that, but this is what the market is saying, and it's my job to be transparent with you and communicate this to you. So
yeah.
Edward, you have any questions?
Oh yeah, I guess from there, I remember hearing earlier, so I guess background on me as well is I've been an agent for the past 2 years, but I was also a teacher for the past 2 years as well. So
you have a lot of patience.
Yeah, I mean, well, I thank you. Yeah, teaching here in DC, man, it can, you have to be okay with kids telling you to F off every now and then. But, so I'm kind of approaching, you know, so I had a good 2 years and I decided this year was like, okay, let's, you know, full time and see, you know, because I was like, yeah, I think it was like 3.5 last year and I'm at 3.5 this year. So I was like, cool, let's hop on to the next. So not with Miami prices down with the 7, but I was just thinking for like that kind of conversation, I think it was on one of the coaching sessions where it was, if there's no activity like at all after like 30 days, like drop like 10%. If there's like some activity, drop it 5, or like, I remember hearing something about like, you know, like obviously I think it kind of depends, but are there kind of like better rules or, you know, like, I guess anecdotal evidence you can be like, all right, cool. So after 30 days, if we have a few showings here and there and some interest, but no actual offers, we can drop it like 3 to 5%. After like a month of no interest, 10%, or is it just kind of?
I mean, that's a great question. I just think it's a case by case scenario. Based on my experience, it's a case by case scenario. There's not like a general rule of thumb. Because things happen, right? Like Robert Refkin spoke at Midtown yesterday, and like in 1 week we had interest rates go up and down in June, like the most it's ever has. I mean, like who could predict that? So I would just really say like when you have a seller, invite them to a collection with comps in the neighborhood. That way they can see in real time what is actually happening. Then two, you know, Luciana is great with this, giving them insight reports, feedback on like what the the market is actually saying. Because I have this scenario where I have a townhouse in Brooklyn, next door sold for 1.96. We're priced $100,000 below. And, you know, if you think about logically, like our layout and finishes are not as nice as that one, but logically, like, okay, like we're priced $100,000 below, so that it justifies, our layout. But we don't have any. The highest offer we have is like 1.7 at the moment. So I'm like, I was like, logically, if we look at the comps, yes, it makes sense. We're priced well, but we don't have any other offers. So
because like, the market got slower. Yeah. And
No,
I think you have to weekly be right now at this moment. I think you have to be weekly looking at the market because things are changing, just changing.
Yeah. So there's no rule of thumb. It's just like so during the shutdown, New York, we were hit very hard.
Yeah.
So my one of my strategies, and I worked this out with Chirag, was every time I went into pitch, I would ask them, if you had a contract in front of you for X amount, I would always put the price 10% below what the market was saying. What would you do? And just see how real of a seller they were. Okay. Because if you got something, if you priced it at market and got something slightly below, they're gonna take it based on the response. Then you have some other responses where it's like, like in New York, people are very like straightforward, like, I'll tell the buyer, fuck off. Like, so
absolutely.
I've had sellers tell me that, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't want to work with you. But so that's also another strategy you could use also is ask them if you had a contract in front of you for X amount, just make sure it's a number like 5 to 10% below what the market's telling you. See, what would you do? And just ask them. And if they say, okay, like I wouldn't take it. Okay, why wouldn't you take it? And just walk through that Med-C process with them and asking them, because you always want to find the trigger point of why they wouldn't take it. Like we discussed another scenario with Rosemary's client. She's not in today, but her client didn't want to sell for us. Sorry, I'm going to use.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. They didn't want to price it below a certain price point because they were getting married. Her clients were getting married. And they were literally counting every single dollar from that. So,
gotcha.
So she's not selling it now, but she's going to probably sell it a year from now.
Okay. And then just for that conversation you were talking, would you say, like, in your experience, has that been after there's been not a lot of activity, or even like before, when you're even like in listing appointment or early on in the
on the listing appointment? I would ask them, like, so what would you do if you had X price in front of you?
Yeah. So that's kind of like the whole, like, all right, so based on the market I'm seeing right now, this house is probably looking around 850,000. However, say you got an offer for 800.
Say contract. What if you have a contract in front of you for 800,000? What would you do?
What would you do? Okay.
Let them tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because then that just gives you a good, barometer of like where they're at.
Yeah. So do you want to practice this?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to be the seller or the agent?
I can be the agent with it. So so for what we're looking at, I guess scenario wise is let's do traditional kind of like, row home in DC. We're seeing those go for anywhere from, depending on how, so let's say like around 850,000, I think is what market's telling us right now.
Okay.
Would have made the CMA already, would have brought that over. They have that in front of them. And then I guess we go from there.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Yeah. Cool. So, hey, Justin, thank you so much for meeting with me. How's everything going?
Everything is good. How you doing, Edward?
Dude, living the dream, man, living the dream. So again, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I know I sent over a CMA for a couple other properties, within like a half-mile radius of here. Did you get a chance to look at it?
Yes, I have.
Good. Excellent. So yeah, so really what I'm looking in the market is we're seeing how home like yours is going for around 850,000. Obviously, there some a little up, some a little down, but I think looking at all of our comps, that puts us at a pretty good spot in the middle to make our first move. How does that sound to you right now?
I was honestly expecting a little more. I know like some of my friends, they sold last year for like in a 900,000. So I was honestly expecting above 900,000.
Yeah. And 100% I hear you on that. Unfortunately, with what interest rates have been looking at, there's been a lot less buyers on the market right now. So we are getting a lot less activity. Then there aren't as offers. And then really what was driving those prices last year was a lot of competition and a lot of escalations, right? So if you had 8 to 10 offers on a property, everyone was willing to escalate. That's why it was getting up to those 900s. You know, it would start at like that 850, but really every escalation kept driving it higher. Unfortunately, now with the time frame, we're not seeing the same number of buyers. So instead of getting 8 offers on a property, you're getting more like 2 or 3, right? Maybe 1. And because of that, we're not seeing those same escalations. Does that make sense with everything?
No, it makes sense. So why do you think that is? Is the market just soft now because of the interest rates, or
Yeah.
less people? Yeah.
I would say a lot of people are getting spooked. A lot of buyers are getting spooked with the interest rates, though really what buyers should be remembering now too is if even at these interest rates, they're still better than they were back in like 2010, right? And I think a lot of people are spooked right now at the moment, but going forward, they're going to realize like, oh no, these are still solid interest rates. Like, yeah, they're not the sub 3 that we had, 6 months ago, a year ago, but they're still solid interest rates. And they're going to realize that they still want to purchase a home.
And so we've been looking, like, we just been doing like basic research, right? And like, so we see that the rental market is up very high. So would it be more advantage for them to like still purchase instead of rent?
It really depends on the person. A lot of that situation, like, yes, people want to build that. Oh, some people want to build that equity in their home, but others, you're in DC, and DC is a very transient community sometimes as well. You have people coming in here for 2 years, work for the government, they move out. Maybe they're just not ready for the responsibility of owning yet. So it kind of depends on the person.
Okay. So you think we're going to get 850?
So looking at the market right now, I think 850 is a great place for us to start. I can't guarantee that's what we're going to get. If all of a sudden there's another interest rate hike, or if there is anything changing, I can't tell the future. But based on everything I'm sending you, 850 looks like a great starting point that we can start building our marketing out, start the open houses, start having people come through, and then we'll see where the market takes us.
And what do you guys do for marketing?
Absolutely. So from the marketing aspect, we're going to have our listing reports out that we built through Compass. That, as you know, I work for Compass. We're going to start sending that to all of our sphere. We're going to start with the open houses. Basically, the first weekend we have available. Slight pause. 100% of mainly a buyer, so I could, buyer's agent. So just pause in the thing. It's just other marketing tools. Yeah, I guess from Compass, I know like we have like the marketing center. We have like the stuff they make for us in Compass. I'm trying to think of like other avenues as well.
Always ask what's most important to you about the agent and company that's going to represent you in the sale of your home.
Okay. Always ask.
Because once you go into the Wayne loves this. Because once you start going into the market of like what Compass does, like I actually get this question raised, like it's rare how often I get this question, like what Compass actually does. Once you start going into like pitching Compass, you're on the defense. So you want to stand offense. So when you ask them that question, you're gonna ask, like, they're gonna tell you exactly what they want to hear. So now role playing or like formulating, the conversation around what they want to hear. But a good thing with Chirag is that he has the marketing calendar that actually helped him build out. We actually built it out for my team back in April 2020, and it just shows you a step-by-step process of what we actually do. If you want to send me an email, I can email the link to you, and then just use that as use that as something you could just make your own and like change
a template.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Template. Exactly. I lost the word for a second.
And then you also said, so then for that, when they kind of ask what kind of marketing do, like ask them the same question, like, well, what kind of marketing are you really looking for in the sale?
Just ask them what's most important to you. About the agent and company that's going to represent you in the sale of your home. for example, I have this woman that I'm working with. She's a friend of mine. I know her so well. I've known her since like 2014. She got a divorce. Like I know her kids. I see her kids grow up. When I go into a property, I could tell you, I could say, hey, like your daughter is gonna, this is a great room for your daughter. I just like paint the picture because I just know her and her family so well. And so yesterday she's like talking to me about this corporate agent. So I'm like, okay, the corporate agent is talking about like a Compass concierge kind of service that corporate has now. And I'm like, okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. So I asked her, so what's most important to you about the agent and the company that's gonna assist you on the sale of this home? I didn't say represent because I wanted to, since I know her very well, I just wanted to use assist. And then she told me she was just like marketing. And then I went over the marketing plan again with her, and she felt very comfortable. And this is like she's buying and selling. She's doing like $8 million in transactions with me this week. So the buy and sell. So yeah, and I know this woman very, very well. I mean, I hang out with her. Like I've met her friends, met her mom, and people they want to hear that you're going to formulate, a marketing plan, especially when they have a lot of money. Like she has $2 million tied up in her primary home, so it's a lot for her. It's her savings. So.
For sure. No, absolutely. Okay, cool. And yeah, I'll definitely send that email over to you as well. Okay.
Yeah. And then once you have that, then we could role play. Or if you want to role play it now, I could be the agent, you be the seller, or maybe Luciana could be the seller. She's tough.
I'm tough, but let him because he needs to practice. Oh, okay, I'll be the seller.
No, well, no, Edward, I was just joking, but Edward and I, we can do it. So you be the seller. We use the same scenario.
Okay.
All right. So ring. Hi, may I speak to Ed?
Hi, yeah, this is Edward. How you doing?
Hey, Ed, it's Justin Martinez with Compass. How you doing today?
Hey, Justin, doing pretty well. Try to get around to golfing earlier, and now here we are. How about you?
Good. I'm doing great. Is this still a good time for you to chat?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got for me?
So I know we were speaking about your townhome, your beautiful townhome, I just want to say, in DC. And I sent you over some comps, and I just wanted to see what were your thoughts on the comps that I sent over.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took a look. I was just kind of like looking around. It seemed pretty solid. But yeah, I'd love to hear more of like, what you were thinking about with it as well.
So based on what we're seeing, it seems like this property is going to sell between $825 and $850. So I just want to kind of get your thoughts on that number.
I mean, I hear that. And like, I saw, what you were looking at or what you sent me, but I was just wondering because like I was paying attention. I know like my neighbor last year, they were more around like that 900 number. I think when they listed, I can't remember what it went for, but I remember they listed it for like 900. And even like right around here, I've been checking out realtor.com. I've seen things go maybe even for like 925. So why are you thinking like 825, 850?
Understood. I agree. I mean, it's definitely a discrepancy between last year and this year. I mean, you wouldn't think that we'll have this much of a discrepancy, but the things that we could control marketing, we can't control the other aspects, whether it's like war overseas, supply chains demand, or interest rates, which directly affects the monthly payment for most buyers. So the interest rates are basically double than what they were last year. So even though they're historically low, buyers are still looking at that their monthly payments going up a lot higher. So we've seen a direct effect in the prices in the area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Though I'm still like, yeah, they're paying more for it, so that the monthly payments going up, I guess that makes sense as well. But so, is there any way though you think we could still potentially get that like 900 number, or?
Based on what we're seeing, if I was a betting man, I don't think so.
Gotcha.
I think we'll get what the comps are showing us, that 825 to 850 number.
How about you think like maybe if it took a pause and like came back like 6 months from now or a year from now, what do you think might happen?
One thing that COVID has taught me is that you can never predict the future. If you told me February 15th of
Yeah.
2020, and we're sitting at a bar and the world is going to shut down in a month, I'll say you're crazy. So I can't predict what's going to go on. Based on what we're hearing from the Fed, is that interest rates are going to continue to rise 6 months to a year from now. So that's what the Fed is reporting. Again, that's not guaranteed. Things can happen where interest rates go below, but it really all depends on, is this the right time for you to sell? Like, what would you do if you had a contract in front of you for 850 at the moment?
Right now for 850. Oh, if I had the full 850 right now, I think I could say yeah. I know I have to talk with my wife a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I could say yeah to an 850 contract right now.
Okay. Based on what you're telling me, and again, I'm not, pushy, and I would love to get you a higher number if the market were to bear that. But I would say it would be a great time for you to sell, being that we just don't know what 6 months, a year from now is going to look like.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, that's fair. That's a good point. So I guess if we are thinking of selling, like, what are the next steps? What are we going to wind up doing?
Great. So I could send you over, like, would it be helpful if I sent you our marketing plan, communication plan?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
And what would you say is most important to you about the agent and company that's going to represent you in the sale of your home?
I definitely want to make sure that the agent is responsive and that they're
Okay.
agents. I don't want to make, I don't want to hear like, maybe like twice a week would be great. Just to
Okay.
make sure we know what's going on. We have updates going through. But I just want to make sure that you're there every step of the process, or they are there every step of the process.
Understood. And so it sounds like to me communication is very important to you.
Definitely. Yeah. Communication is number one.
So would it be also helpful if I sent you our communication plan?
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Awesome. I mean, I think we're on the same page. Communication is also important to us. We're confident we're going to get you to the closing table, but if we don't communicate to you throughout the process, we feel like it's a failure. Like we didn't do our job if we don't communicate to you. So
For sure.
I'm glad we're on the same page about that. Do you have any other questions before I send you an email later today with the next steps?
I think right now I'm good. I guess I just want to see the next steps. I guess see, what it's going to entail and what we're going with, and we can go from there.
Okay. And have you guys interviewed any other agents or companies?
Not at the moment. You referred to me, so I wanted to, give the referral the first shot, and then we might be reaching out to other people, but I do want to check out the marketing plan and communication plan first, and we can go from there.
Okay, awesome. I just want to bring up, if you do happen to meet with another agent or company, and there's a question that comes up that we didn't go over, would it be okay if you asked me that question?
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll email you within the hour, and looking forward. Won't be a good time to follow up.
Perfect. Sounds good, Justin. Thank you.
Well, when would be a good time to follow up?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I would say let's follow up like 2-3 days from now.
All right, perfect. So I'll do that.
Perfect.
Thanks.
And see.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So yeah, I think from definitely, the communication and marketing plan, and like the tools, I want to make sure I'm having everything. And that's really what I'm trying to build up. Yeah, as well. Okay, cool.
The only question I didn't ask is, what makes this the right time to sell? So I didn't get your motivation behind selling. But everything else went over what's most important.
Yeah.
About the agent and company. We went over if they got X price, and if they had a contract with X price in front of them, what would they do? So you saw that they're we pre-qualified, right? That's a real seller.
Yeah.
We found out we went over what's most important, but we asked them, had they interviewed any other agents, which I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
We also asked them, like, if they do interview someone and they have a question that's that you didn't go over, would they be okay with touching base with you? Because a lot of agents forget to ask that, and another company or agent say, hey, we have this other strategy, and then you lose the pitch just because you didn't get a second at bat.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the last thing was to get a follow-up.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So then asking what's the most important about the agent and company that's helping them sell. Why is it the right time? If you had the contract, are there other?
Yeah, if you have the contract for X price, what would you do?
Yeah, in front of you right now for X amount, what would you do?
Justin, how about the disappointment if he had worked with somebody else?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Have you sold, a property before, and what was your experience like when you sold? Did you have any disappointments? Would you change anything? That's a good question too.
Got you. You are interviewing right now. Cool. I'm just jotting everything down.
Awesome. This was a really good one. I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wayne, do you want to play anything? Let me see if I can unmute you.
Go
I
Wayne.
got it. No, Justin, you're smooth as silk, dude. I'm like,
Go.
I'm impressed.
Come on, Wayne, go do one.
I'm just trying to
Chirag used to beat me up.
What's
do
that?
one with the Med C again.
I said Chirag used to beat me up all the time. You have no idea.
Oh, did he?
Chirag beat me up until we got it right.
I don't really have any questions right now. I think I just need to practice probably some of these questions in the mirror or something,
No, that's
But,
actually
just
good too.
practice now. Yeah, practice now. Let's practice.
Or-
I need practice too.
Or if you don't have a scenario this week, I mean, you could always figure out a scenario that you want to practice, 1 or 2 scenarios, and we can do it next week. It's fine.
All right. How about next week? Because I
just-
do have a listing presentation, conversation later today. So,
Yeah.
but I am going
Wow.
to ask that question. I am going to ask the
Yeah.
question: what is
So
most
let's
important to you
pretend,
about the
wait.
agent and company that represents you?
Yeah, but
the
let's
sale of
try
your home?
now. If you have a listing pitch later, let's try it now. What is your listing? Come on, let's do it. It's one time, you gotta practice.
See, this is why I'm
Luciana,
glad
you-
Luciana joined. She's like,
Tell me the
let's go.
scenario. Let's go. Tell me the scenario and I'll do it with Justin. But you
Okay,
should do
all
it
right.
because it will
Sorry,
make you.
I think Ed has a question. Sorry.
No, I'm just
Okay, go ahead, Ed.
are there any other agents you're interviewing right now? And then what you said was, if there are and you have any questions, can you ask me them? Or what was the wording that you used for that?
I said if you happen to meet with any other agents after this meeting, if there's any other strategies or questions that come up, would it be okay if you bounced those questions off of me and we could go over them?
Gotcha. Would it be okay? Okay, cool. Yeah. If there are any,
You just want to get a second at bat to go over anything that you guys didn't go over.
definitely. Yeah. Cool.
Hey, Justin. How's it going, guys? It's Elkin.
Hey, Elgin.
Quick question. I've heard, I don't know if it's from Chirag or maybe Steve Schultz, to ask to go last if they're interviewing other agents. What are your thoughts on that?
That's basically the question of like, if they do happen to meet any other agents, would it be okay if, we went over any questions or scenarios that come up that we didn't go over today?
So this is on the initial call, right? That you're doing this, right? Not.
Yeah, initial call, initial meeting.
But you know what, Elkin? I think it's a good idea because I got a call from somebody that found me in the internet, I don't know how, to lease a house in a neighborhood that I had only made one sale, but she saw that I had sold a house there at the full price, blah, blah, blah. They called me and then they were in a rush to get me in and talk to them about. And I had to go. I had no clue. I was not prepared at all. And I should have said, are you interviewing other agents? If so, I'd like to be later or the last, or even say, I can't. If they said yes, I would have said, okay, unfortunately, I can't do it today. I would be able to do it in 2 days from now or 1 day from now. But you never know. What happened is that I went unprepared. I did the Med C questions, motivation, expectations, all of these. I went back and I said, listen, I have to do my homework. So I'm going to do a CMA, which is an analysis of the price. I took pictures so that I remember the condition of your house, blah, blah, blah. And I'll send it to you via email. Okay, the next day, if one day passed, I prepared the CMA. The following day, they called me, no, they sent me an email saying, oh, my mother wanted me to reach out to you immediately because she interviewed another realtor who is a friend of the neighbor and that knows sales in the neighborhood, and she decided to go with them. So I had no clue, and I asked, what was exactly the reason why. And she said, oh, he came already with all the comps, and he was like, so, so I think that is a good idea.
Well, so for me, I always, before I meet with anyone, I actually send them, I have a pre-pitch email that I send to them. So it includes our comps, it includes our marketing plan. And and I honestly, I asked them like before I meet with them, I actually asked them what's most important to them. That way I could, when we actually meet in person, we could address those concerns. So if you guys want the pre-pitch email, email me and I'll send it over. I think I've sent it over to you, Luciana, before, but
yes, you did. Yes. Oh, but you know what happened, Justin? I was on the road, and the daughter who spoke with me said, my mother's in a rush and she needs you to come here today. And I said, I really can't do it today. I'd rather do it tomorrow. And she insisted. She said, no, she needs it today because we are already taking care of emptying the house and doing this and that. And we really need you to come here today. And it was like, okay, I don't want to lose the business. I'll go. But, I got there and I said, I'm not prepared, but I want to talk to you and understand a little more about.
Yeah.
But never knew she was going to reach out to another realtor. Yeah. I should have asked that question.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, like,
Yeah, things happen. Yeah, of course, things happen.
And our business, if you hit 30%, that's like going to the Hall of Fame in baseball. So,
yeah.
Any other questions? I have to jump in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Sorry, say that again.
What's your best email?
Justin.m@compass.com.
Justin.
Or you can actually email. Yeah, just email to that one.
All right, cool. Perfect. Sounds good.
Wayne, you skipped us out today.
He got out of it. Don't worry, we're gonna get you next time. We're gonna get you next week, Wayne. Don't worry, we'll see you next week.
All right, you can beat me up next week.
Bye, guys. Bye.
All right, take
Bye,
care.
guys.